Mahatma Gandhi says the future depends on what you do today. Today I am covering another 20 questions for you which are useful for your phase 2 preparation of RBI Grade B exam, and not only for the objective questions but also the concept we discuss here are going to help you in descriptive questions. My name is Chandraprakash Joshi. Very welcome to Exam B. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done yet. This is the part 9 of the video. In the last video I asked you what is Fisher effect. So in economics and sometimes it is studied in finance also, Fisher effect shows the relationship between interest rate, nominal interest rate, real interest rate and inflation. The equation is nominal interest rate is equal to the real interest rate plus inflation. If you want to understand it mathematically, that is fine, but if you just understand the concept, you will realize, even sometimes we talk about the nominal GDP. So nominal GDP is what? Real GDP plus inflation. That's what the Fisher equation is. Suppose today the nominal interest rate is 10% and say a year back, and today the inflation is 6% in last 1 year, for example. So the real interest rate is then 4%, because every year the prices are increasing 6%. So the actual interest you are bearing is 4%, even if you are paying 10% interest. Time value of money is related to this. In 1 year, automatically something which is rupees 100 worth rupees 100 is becoming 106, because 6% is the inflation. RBI and Monetary Authority of the Singapore have announced a project to link their fast payment system UPI and Pay Now. Find out the correct statement in this regard. The linkage will enable users of the two payment system to make instant fund transfer. For fund transfers, a user of UPI requires to be a part of the Pay Now system. The linkage is expected to be operationalized in second half of 2022. Second statement, that the user of the UPI requires to be a part of the Pay Now system, is not correct. And I think you can reasonably guess also this one. This is expected to be operationalized in second half of 2022. The linkage enables users of the two payment system to make instant fund transfer remittances without the need to get on board into the other system. In other words, a user of the UPI will be a part of the Pay Now system. This is signed with Monetary Authority of Singapore. Check this video by Sushil sir. The best coverage of the general awareness questions is done by Exam B. He has discussed in this video that how we have covered the best number of questions. And the most beautiful part of that is we do that in the short content, a very crisp content, so that you get time to revise. You get your preparation 50% faster. We are coming with daily BPDA soon, and BPDA has immensely helped students in scoring in general awareness. If you are still not studying BPDA, you are missing something curated for the regulatory body and banking exams. Download BPDA rather than studying which is curated for other exam, maybe civil services. Your choice. Which of the following is an example of the passive investment instrument? Passive investment means invest and sleep. That is what we call passive investment. You invest and then you can relax. So gold ETF is an example of passive investment. What are the other examples? That you purchase share of the all companies. So it is like you have purchased so much of the variety of the share that wherever the company, any company is growing, you will be benefited, and if there is no growth, then you can't do anything. The goal is to copy the performance of the market. If you purchase all the shares of a company, you will purchase the market, like market instrument. The risk of the investment correspondent to the market risk. Now if the market collapse, then you are losing. Strategy is to buy and hold. So you are not trading actively. Minimum intervention in the portfolio. It is more expensive form of investing. Payment Infrastructure Development Fund was operationalized in January 21 with 250 crore contributed from RBI. What is the total contribution of PIDF as on March 31st, 2022? It is 799 crore, and with this fund, payment is subsidized in tier 2, tier 6 cities of northeast state. Then beneficiaries of the PM Swanidhi in tier 1, tier 2 also covered. At the end of April 2022, 1.18 crore new touch points have been deployed under the scheme, again a target of the 90 lakh touch points. So 250 crore came from RBI and rest has come from the network card issuing bank. Total 799 crore. The short-term borrowing scheme that facilitated the scheduled bank to get funds from the Central Bank of India overnight in case of the serious cash shortage by offering their approved government securities is called serious cash shortage. Remember, so there is a distinguishing feature, and it's by offering the collateral by the bank. This scheme is called MSF, Marginal Standing Facility, and the rate MSF today is 5.15. Maximum up to 2% of the NDTL banks can borrow under this scheme. You must know this fact. This can be asked in the exam. The rate differs from the repo rate, and the banks can get overnight funds from RBI paying the exclusive MSF rate. So in repo also, banks have to keep the securities with RBI. Basically they are selling and with a commitment to purchase again. But in case of acute shortage of liquidity, this is the another window given by RBI. Which of the following statement about counter-cyclical lending and pro-cyclical lending are correct? In business cycle theory and finance, any economic quantity that is positively correlated to the overall state of the economy is said to be pro-cyclical. Positive correlated, so pro-cyclical. Banks keep the lending rate high and increases buffers during an economic prosperity. That happens really, just understand, when the bank increase rate, so the deposit rates are also increased. That is a cost for the bank. So it is saying that then therefore they keep the reserve and therefore arrest the increase in the credit uptake in an example of counter-cyclical lending. No, this cannot be. No, quantities that tend to increase when the overall economy is slowing down are classified as counter-cyclical. Counter-cyclical means when the market is going down, some company's share is going up, that is counter-cyclical. So first and three are correct. Pro-cyclical means economy is used to describe how an economic activity is related to economic fluctuation, which is going with the economy. It is opposite to the counter-cyclical. Counter-cyclical means if the economy is doing well and some company, some stock is doing bad, that is counter-cyclical. So economic activity that is positively correlated to the overall state of the economy is said to be pro-cyclical. Quantities that tend to increase when the overall economy is slowing down are called counter-cyclical. So any economic policy that is believed to decrease the fluctuations is called counter-cyclical. In case of the economic policy, pro-cyclical has a different meaning, because in this context, pro-cyclical refers to economic policy that could magnify economic and financial fluctuations. So the economy is going through the bad phase and something is happening pro-cyclical, because if the cycle is going down and some economic policy helping this going down is pro-cyclical. So here you need something to counter this, a policy which can change the cycle from going down to taking it up. That is counter-cyclical here. What are the components of the RBI's capital reserves? So I have shown the RBI balance sheet also sometime in some of the discussions. So RBI's capital reserves are contingency fund, currency and gold revaluation reserve, asset development fund. Debenture reserve, some reserves is not there. This is the balance sheet. Again you can see RBI balance sheet, contingency fund, asset development fund and revaluation account. Revaluation account, say for example the gold RBI is holding, the value of the gold increases. So the revaluation is done. So that is how the reserve is created. Understand these. Contingency fund expect to help the central bank to meet the risk from sudden liquidity shortage in the market, steep exchange rate movement. And asset development fund is for developing some further asset. Currency and gold revaluation account, CGRA, I explained you. Investment revaluation account, other investment done in other securities. So value of the securities keep on changing. If the value increases, decreases, that is maintained here. And FCVA, foreign exchange forward contract valuation account, the value of the foreign exchange. What is the maximum amount of the compensation that can be awarded by the ombudsman as per the integrated ombudsman scheme, the latest one? So compensation amount maximum can be 20 lakh. That is the power given to the ombudsman. In addition to this, Ombudsman can award up to rupees 1 lakh of the loss of the complainant's time, expenses incurred, and for harassment, mental anguish suffered by the complainant. There is no limit on the amount in a dispute that can be brought before the Ombudsman for which the Ombudsman can pass the award. So please understand that the dispute can be for an amount of say 200 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore or whatever. But this is the compensation, maximum punishment you can say, which compensation will be for somebody who has been harassed. But somebody who has to pay, he will feel that is a punishment for him. What is the basic difference between gross NPA and net NPA? So basic difference is very simple. Gross NPA is the total of the bank loan and net NPA is the total of all kinds of loan including credit card. So this is not, see, gross NPA and net NPA is, you remember this definition, net NPA is equal to gross NPA minus what you know, most of you know because you are preparing for phase 2 now. Provisions. Gross NPA refers to the sum of all the loans that have been defaulted by the borrower, and net NPA is the amount that results after deducting the provision. This one is correct. I am not wrong. Second, government e-marketplace comes under the administrative control of which ministry? E-marketplace is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It is an online platform for public procurement in India. The initiative was launched in August 9, 2016 by the Ministry of the Commerce and Industry with an objective to create an open and transparent procurement platform for government buyers. Which of the following statement about NABARD are correct? NABARD is headquartered in Mumbai. Yes, correct. And the present chairman of NABARD is Devashish Panda. The formation of NABARD was approved by the Parliament through Act 61 of 81 and NABARD was established on 12 July 1982. The current president of NABARD is Mr. G.R. Chintala. Mr. Devashish Panda is the chairman of IRDAI. So simple question and rest of the facts are correct. Which of the following are incorrect? The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says that 1.5 degree C report calls for global carbon emissions to reach net zero by 2030. In India, electricity sector accounts for the single largest source of the greenhouse emissions. In India, the SEBI introduced disclosure requirement for the issuance of listing of green bonds in 2017. So only first one is correct. These two are incorrect here. Only first one is incorrect and these two are correct here because net zero is targeted by year 2050. Electricity sector is the single largest source, 40% of the greenhouse gas emissions. Green bonds are the debt instrument that can be used by government and their entities, international organizations as well as the private sector to raise money for projects that demonstratively contribute to the climate mitigation and adaptation. SEBI introduced disclosure requirement for the issuance and listing of the green bonds in 2017. Since then, India has become the second largest issuer of the green bonds after China. First is China among emerging market with a cumulative issue worth rupees 10 billion, significant amount by private companies and public sector entities such as SBI. In budget 22-23, government announced that India would issue a green sovereign bond also. Sovereign means which the government will issue. And as per the survey of the 19th sovereign issue of the Green Social Responsibility Bond conducted by Climate Bonds Initiative, an average 44% of the GSS bonds were allocated to green investors and at least 11 issuers gave preference to investors describing themselves as green or socially responsible. The situation in which rate of inflation is decreasing over time while the inflation remaining positive. Now you understood. The inflation is not going negative but it is decreasing. So from 6% it goes to 4%, 3%, inflation is positive, still prices are increasing. What is this situation called? So this is called disinflation, decrease in the inflation rate. Deflation is different. The deflation is decrease in the general price. So inflation will become negative. That is deflation. Hyperinflation I discussed in another example where I talked about what happened in countries like Zimbabwe, Hungary, Venezuela. Which of the following should not be included in the balance of payment account? BOP doesn't include this, and the correct answer here is dividend of equity shareholders paid by HDFC Bank in India. I think this is an easy question because this is the payment done by HDFC Bank within India. So how it will come in the BOP? Dividend paid by home country investors from a foreign subsidiary. See, the foreign country is involved here. Interest payment on loan to the IMF here also. Import of automobile. So here also foreign exchange is involved. So easy one. Which of the following industries do not form a part of 8 core industries? Basic question. You can find the answer in textbook also. You have to know these basic thing also. Answer is IT and IETs. 8 core industries are coal, crude, natural gas, refinery, steel, cement, fertilizer and electricity. The highest weight you can see is coming from the refinery side among the 8 core industries. Section 23 of the Banking Regulation Act 1949 is related to which of the following? Because this is important. Many a time you will find this mention of this section 23 in newspaper also. All act you are not supposed to read. So it does not mean that you have to read the Banking Regulation Act or RBI Act, but the important one, because this is opening of new or transfer of existing place of business, and this has come in discussion with the doorstep banking. It deals with the requirement of the seeking prior approval by RBI in relation to the opening of the new and transfer of the existing place of the business. So as per the act, if a bank has to open a branch or any office, they have to take RBI approval, but RBI have liberalized this policy, given that discretion to the banks. Section 23 mentioned in relation to the doorstep banking by Urban Cooperative Bank recently. Which of the following is not a characteristic of ethical dilemma? More than one course of action and principles. Is it ethical dilemma here? Necessity of making a choice. Ideal resolution is not possible. There are many such situations. Choice between right and wrong. So I think now you got your answer. Right and wrong. You have to decide between right and wrong, because there are many situations where you have to take one of the actions. There are many options available. All cannot be. There is a clear choice. So use the option elimination technique here. The following are important functions of the financial market. They are source of financing, they provide liquidity, they reduce risk, they are source of information. Now, because there are options here, from this you have to select, so that makes this question little tricky, but all are correct because financial market are providing all this, including the source of information, because market is a great source of information. In which of the following year direct benefit transfer has been started by Government of India? DBT, direct benefit transfer in the accounts of the beneficiaries. I have in most of my discussion with the student realized that student fear writing, have been in the habit of doing all MCQs. So this RBI Grade B exam, now when 2/3 of the exam is descriptive phase 2, and your interview also, you can say it's a kind of descriptive preparation. You have to talk about what you have understood. We have launched this Extreme B program, where being with the faculty members who have cleared RBI Grade B exam and several others helps you in developing that mindset. The skill which are required, there are some good ways to write an effective answer. To know more, find out about Extreme B. The correct answer here is 2013 DBT started by Government of India, a major reform initiative by Government of India, and leveraging the benefit of the Aadhaar project, linking it with the bank account. Money was going directly in the account of the beneficiaries, improve the efficiency and transparency in the system. Which scheme has replaced the midday meal scheme? And the correct answer here is, you have these 5 options. PM Poshan Shakti. PM Poshan Shakti as the center pushes for child nutrition in the country, with the addition of around 24 lakh students from pre-primary government and government aided schools. Out of the disinvestment target of dash crore as per the union budget, the government has raised this much through LIC. So this is 22-23 current financial year. The disinvestment target is 65,000 crore. 21,000 crore have been done through the LIC IPO, which is very recent. You must know both the number. And in this, government offloaded 3.5% stake. So only by diluting 3.5%, 21,000 crore raised. This question you have to answer, and very interesting question. Apply your mind. Shivam wants to promote one of his employee to lead the new production team. He prefers to promote an employee with a low LPC score. Which attribute would an employee have if he or she has a low LPC? You have these 5 options. Write your answer, and if you have any doubt, write in the comment, because then next time when I explain the answer, I will try to address that. I will try to explain that. You have to do this practice of writing. Even writing in comments shows your confidence. An ounce of practice is worth 1,000 words. Listening to me is good, but you do the practice of writing. Subscribe to our channel. All the best for your preparation, and don't forget to share this video. Please do that. It helps us in creating superior content. Thank you.